Hello, distinguished viewers, and welcome back to White Lives Matter, a show/podcast where a black queer tells you why white lives matter too much in America. And today the subject is, you are not oppressed. This is something that I hear from white fragility a lot. Mostly white male fragility, but no white person of any age, class, or gender is immune from this phrase towards people that are in the oppressed class. And I find that there are even some people of color that don't believe in racism. They definitely believe in other forms of systematic oppression. They believe that classism, capitalism, and more economic-focused classes or education classes are the problem, but they will totally not see or the issue of how racism and the social biases that were long since established in racism and slavery and things like the Trail of Tears don't play into how modern day bias-based capitalism plays now. And as somebody who was raised in a place where the population is very much either you're black or you're white, I'm not from a place that really had any like Asians or Mexicans or anything like that. And then to see such a strong power dynamic between the classes, like most of the people that are in our government are white, and they are governing over black people, and this is why one of the reasons why we're the most corrupt state in the United States. You probably already know who I'm talking about if you know American history and state nicknames. But when I see it on the internet, when it lands in any of my comment sections and stuff like that, I immediately laugh, first of all, because it's always coming from someone who either does not live here and does not understand how we as Americans are oppressed and oppressing each other, or there's someone who actively participates in the oppressive class. As I said before, usually a white man. The most unoppressed person in America and in various places all over the world. I find that white people, especially white men, can go pretty much anywhere and nothing all that bad happens to them. Whereas black people have a tendency to go missing all the time and people don't really seem to care. So, in examining you are not oppressed by the oppressing class, first of all, if you were anything like me, Don't let these people try to gaslight you out of your thing. You know what you've been through. I know that some people have their doubts because it's like there's such a huge social toss-up of like, is racism over? I would say our resurgence of Nazism means that racism is very much alive and well. And it never really went away. It just has fluctuations of how popular and unpopular it is. And with our current president being a Nazi, I would say it's very popular. And that also leads me to something else that I thought of today. Kind of unrelated to the overall subject matter, obviously. But, we as Americans don't really do anything about our government. At least not to the level in which we used to do things. It's like, at some point we just became extremely complacent to the point where we have an entire Nazi and rapist running our country, and have a rapist on our Supreme Court, and have so many racists and misogynists and rapists in authority, and we even have a police union that protects violent police and people that commit brutality against others from the rest of the community and lets them keep their jobs and their pensions and whatnot, and we don't do anything about it. This is a whole lot of the worst place to be in the world, because we claim to have all of this virtue and whatnot, and we don't have anything to back it up with how we treat our own people. And we certainly aren't interested in holding people accountable. The powers that be are those people. As I said, coming from a place where it's more microscopically seen, of the power dynamic between the people in power who are white, usually white men, and everybody else who is pretty much everybody black. And then I come out into the rest of the world and I pretty much see the same thing of people of color at the bottom, this time all different kinds of people of color, and still white men at the top, which is a long established place that they have been put in, that their forefathers put them in, that they are continuing to establish. And yet, you are not oppressed. It's not nuance. It's like, you can either explain to these people who claim that you aren't oppressed how you are oppressed, or you could eat a bowl of fish scales. People that come in and make those claims, and that's pretty much all that they have to say, they don't care about the details of who isn't oppressed. They just don't want to be called out as the oppressors, or they don't want to face the reality that people are oppressed in different ways, for those who do believe in forms of oppression but don't believe in racism. And some people just can't look outside their own lens, more towards the second one, of like, this is what this is like in their country or their situation, where maybe all the people look the same, so they don't have that race dynamic going on like we do. But I am here to tell you that I support you. Anyone who is willing to call out classism, racism, misogyny, and all those things, here's your number one fan right here. And to all of you who think that you can leave those comments on my channel, I'm not saying anything about anyone else's channel, my channel. This isn't a debate forum. I'm right and you're wrong, and I will delete your comments and they will not see the light of day. So you're wasting your time. And I'm going to address this probably just once, because it doesn't really deserve to be held to a main title twice. I'm making this video to make a point of, I am oppressed. Just because you say I'm not oppressed doesn't mean it's not real. Like, do you just want me to just, like, you are not oppressed? What comes of that? Do I just delete my entire series and just be like, I am not oppressed? Yes, Nasta. That's not how reality works. Just like the notion that I'm not an oppressed class is also a falsehood that you've invented for yourself to make yourself feel less bad about whatever. And I guess that's it. White men are fools, and have a nice day.